You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
Hey, you're listening to Adulting with Horses, the best place to be if you can't be at the barn. We are your co-hosts and equine authors, Heather Wallace and Natalie Keller-Reinert. As crazy horse girls, we don't take ourselves too seriously in the saddle or out. We celebrate the things that make us different. Join us as we talk about horses and pop culture and get a little weird in a fun way. Thank you for being a little weird with us.
Hey, Natalie, I missed you.
Hi, Heather. Your eyebrows look very fine and waxed today.
Yes, I got them waxed. I got a lot of stuff waxed. The eyebrows were only one of them.
Did you?
I did. You know, summer cleanup and all that.
Oh, right. Yeah. I'm sure it won't surprise you that I've never dealt with any of that.
No?
Never.
Well, you're going to enjoy, because I have a really funny story. I'm just going to come in hot and open this with a couple of years ago, I had a waxer, and I did a Brazilian, just kept it clean. Just take it off. I don't like to sweat, right? So, clean it off. Just let it go. And she told me, and I quote, while she was waxing me in my nether regions, "Wow, did you lose weight?"
Oh.
Take that to mean what you will, but apparently my vagina was fat at one point.
I feel like I have heard a comment like that before, but it might have been on a sitcom.
Truthfully, I had, so, I appreciated it. But I was like, wow, yeah, I've come a long way. Once you have kids, you just kind of you're like, yeah, we're just hanging out, talking while you're waxing my vagina. It's fine.
Yeah, you really lose. So will the same person do both ends, so to speak?
Yes.
That's great.
Usually they start up in the facial area, and then they save
then they move down.
The nether regions for last.
It's more hygienic.
Well, it's on a good date, you don't want to go in for the kill. You want to ease on into it.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Do they have to, is there a buy me a drink situation at any point? Do they offer you water, maybe? Or
no, and there's not even, it's very much come in, take your pants off. How's it going?
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, you really quickly lose any kind of personal space.
Oh my God. I went to a day spa one time in my life. I hated every minute of it. And there was a woman, I think she gave me a pedicure, and I was like, please don't touch my feet. She's like, it's included. I'm like, I didn't pay for it and I don't care. But she's like, she told me I had really pretty feet, and I've been riding on that for a really long time.
That's their first and last pedicure?
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely one of those people that could injure somebody if they, go in the wrong way and give it a tickle and just be like,
smack them in the face.
There's no problem with those reflexes.
So I'm a middle of the road girl. I love a good spa. I love a good massage. I love, you want to flower me and touch me with all the sea kelp and whatever. I mean, go for it. But where I do draw the line, my girlfriend, and I love her to death. She probably listens to this, so sorry, Leah. She's like, there's this great new Korean spa. We have to go to it. Just be comfortable being naked. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, oh, no. You're full naked. No towels, no robes. You're just walking around naked, in the spa. And it's women's only. There's a men's section and a women's section. And I don't have the body confidence for that. I gotta be honest.
I'd rather do a spa day for a horse. That's way more fun. I'm more comfortable ending up completely dirty in the end. I don't feel like I have to mask anything at that point. That's just who I am. I am a woman who is covered with filth with a very shiny horse who smells good. And I mean, what's better?
Is your horse suffering from itchy, irritated skin? Don't let them be miserable any longer. Kinetic Vet's EquiShield CKHC is a veterinarian-developed solution for bacterial and fungal dermatitis in horses. Its powerful formula combines 3 ingredients to fight bacteria, tackle fungus, and soothe inflamed skin. EquiShield CKHC comes in a convenient shampoo for full body application,
a salve for targeted relief, and a spray for on-the-go treatment. For widespread infections, simply apply the shampoo, let it sit, then rinse. Follow up with a salve or spray for extra relief. See the difference EquiShield CKHC can make for your horse's skin. Visit kineticvet.com or ask your veterinarian to order today. EquiShield CKHC. Relief for your horse, peace of mind for you.
What's better? That's me.
Nothing's
I
better.
guess I'm just a pig pen of a human. But before we talk about anything equine, can we just go back to something you said before we started about your less chaotic energy coming off of your eyebrows? Can we just touch on that, please?
Yes. So I don't know how much people believe in this, but I work with animals, right? So I believe energy is energy, and the softer. Apparently, my waxer reads my energy every time I come in, and it's always like, it's me. And
Bouncing off the wall.
Bouncing off the walls, because I'm usually running from one thing to the next, and like I hop in, my appointment's on time, let's go. And I came in today, and she goes, I'm like laying on her table, and I'm like, I just got a shirt on, like I'm naked from the waist down. She's waxing my eyebrows. We're just having a chat, as one does. And she's like, you seem different today, and I was like, really? And she's like, yeah, your energy is just, you're a lot calmer. You seem like your overall aura is just like much more relaxed. And I didn't say this, but I was going to. I was like, that's because I gave it to Natalie. All my chaos. Because I heard about your last couple weeks.
Oh my god, it has just been very chaotic.
Sorry.
Right up to this morning. Like,
really?
Stuff just keeps happening. Yeah. Yeah. So now I have, just to sort of give you a baseline, I now have 3 cats and 2 20-year-olds in my house.
Oh.
Right? So I don't even have to tell you anything else.
Oh, no. Yeah. I still win, but yes, that would upset the balance.
It has been crazy. Nothing has gone the way it used to go. And 2 of the cats are in this room right now, and one of them is looking very alert, and he's up to something. Where are you going?
How's Glasgow dealing with this usurpation?
It's starting to level out, but he's been acting out, like staying out too late. He keeps finding snakes, so now he has to stay inside because apparently, wandering, and 2 snakes, instead of just staying on the back porch like a good kitty when he wants to go outside. So he's looking at me right now with half open eyes, which is that really creepy, maleficent glare, like
he's plotting.
Yeah. So that whole side of things has been upended. But there's no blood, no fur has flown, that kind of thing. It's just like 3 gangster cats just watching each other for opportunities to like sneak attack and jump on each other. So, yeah, that's like, what a introduction to like having multiple cats in the house again. It's been so much. Yeah, and I've been working on this crazy revision project, and so that was happening, and it was all happening at once, and we all had COVID. Everybody in the house had COVID.
Yeah, you got COVID while you were in England, correct?
Like I guess like on the way home. Like I picked it up at Heathrow.
Well, better than having it like whilst in London.
We had other shit whilst in London.
Literal, right? Because you had the stomach flu.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for giving you my chaos. I'm really sorry.
My thing was like, at least it's a place that we're super like, we're going to all of our favorite places kind of trip. It wasn't like a once in a lifetime, oh my god, we're never coming back. It was like, okay, so we didn't have the best time in London, but like we go to London every year, so we'll live. That kind of makes sense. Yeah. So, because everybody's got to get sick on vacation at some point. Like,
2 friends of mine got COVID on the way back from Iceland last year.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't get it, and I was sitting next to them the whole time. One was my roommate. So,
yeah.
I have some superpowers in some ways, but yeah.
Well, I
felt
like,
terrible for them.
I was kind of like relieved when I took a COVID test and it was positive. because I was like, I've had 4 vaccinations against this. It's not going to be a big deal. Whereas if it was a cold can really set you down. You know, you can have a cold for 2 weeks. You know, it won't leave you alone. This was like, oh, cough, cough. I should probably take a COVID test, and it wasn't a big deal. But
that on the after effects of the stomach flu, and maybe that's why you got sick, because you were already immunosuppressant with the stomach flu. Because the stomach flu going around is bad right now.
It was nasty. It was the nastiest I have felt in years, actually. Like years. I was like, oh my God, I am actually very sick, and I have to like go on a long haul flight in a few days. And I didn't think it was stomach flu. I thought it was food poisoning. But then after we arrived and there was more incidents, then it became clear it was something else.
There's like nothing worse. We're just gonna get real. There's nothing worse than having your stomach drop or having to vomit in a place where you are locked in. Like, you can't be in your own bedroom. You can't be in your own bathroom.
Yeah.
It is the worst feeling in the world. Totally.
We were honestly very fortunate that we got a huge Airbnb.
Good.
We had plenty of room. It was the most unbelievably large flat. I couldn't believe how big it was. It was 2 bedroom and 2 bath. It had a living room and a dining room and a kitchen.
Oh, good.
An entryway and a patio. So it was actually, you know, if we had been millionaires, we could have lived there full time. Like, it was enormous, and much larger than many of the places we have lived in our married life. So that
you
part
had
worked
some
out.
Privacy. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it didn't really suck, like being there. Like, there's a patio. Like I said, you could sit outside and read and that kind of thing. So,
what area were you in? What neighborhood?
We were in Bayswater, which is like directly across from like Kensington Palace kind of region. Mm-hmm. That's where we like to stay in that area. That's kind of our neighborhood.
I'm staying in Mayfair when I go back in July. I'll be staying in Mayfair, not far from King's Cross Station, but not there either. Like, you know, kind of in the heart of things. But we're going for a wedding, so I really hope I don't get sick. Otherwise, that's fucked.
Yeah, you know, I've always been, ever since, you know, pandemic craziness, I've been like, just stay in. If you're going to go on vacation, just like isolate yourself for 2 weeks. Actually, I used to do this even when we lived in New York City. And it was like, you know, it was a big deal to go away for a week and kid in school and all that. It was like, just stay in and take your temperature every day before your trip. You know, yeah, like, it's just panic that we were gonna like get a flu and ruin like our one big trip. That was you know, it's such a thing then. It was like that one big vacation, got out of the city for a week kind of thing. And it's, yeah, I think isolating before vacation is a very good idea.
but so just devil's advocate, wouldn't it make your immune system that much shocked when you get on a plane or you like go to the airport? Like, wouldn't it be better to just be around the regular stuff?
It depends on how long you're gone for, what the incubation period of whatever you're going to catch is.
Fair.
Right? If you're going on like a 5-day trip, you might get sick on the way home, but there's a good chance that whatever you picked up at the airport on the way out won't bother you until you're on the way back, which also sucks. But at least you got your vacation out of it. That's my logic anyway.
I never really I don't know, maybe I'm very laissez-faire that way, because like I've never really worried about that except for when I was going to like Mongolia, because no one wants to get sick while you're there. Right. At all. You know,
you'll just die.
Well, there's one hospital, you know.
I was a travel agent at that point too. And so I was very much learning that anything bad can and will happen to people on trips. So, you know, I learned a lot about trip insurance and how important it is.
Always.
I still buy it.
The only time I don't buy trip insurance is if it's domestic or if it's like for like a long weekend. But if I'm going anywhere for 5 days or more, or it's international, I will always get Alliance. Thank you very much. Yes.
Right. I also get it in the winter time. Like when we go to Harrisburg, like trip insurance, right? Because we could have a blizzard and not get there.
That's true. Although, because does it cover weather? I guess
it depends on everything depends on the bookings, T&Cs, and every booking is different. Blah, blah,
I like to go through.
This has been Travel Talk with Natalie.
I know, right? Well, we could do multiple episodes on travel because we both love to do it. So maybe we do. Well, because I'm going to be going to England, and one of my clients, who is a friend of mine, like we met on a retreat at Sea Lazy Ranch a couple years ago. She came to Iceland. She was one of the ones who got COVID. She goes back to see Lazy You every year, and this year her husband had a heart attack.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I mean he's okay, thankfully. Like they caught
Like at the
it.
ranch?
No.
Oh.
Like she goes every August for her birthday, and they got he ended up having a heart attack while I was traveling in May. So I saw her. He had a triple bypass, and so he's not going with her this year. So she goes, "You're not going to Iceland? I have a room available."
Oh.
And I'm wondering how I can make this happen.
This is your year of travel. So the question is, you just lean into it.
Oh, I think I lean, baby. But the only question is, I don't know. There is a possibility that my friend Sydney will be going to the Paralympics in September in Paris. If she does, which it won't be announced till July, but if she does, I'd love to go support. You know what I mean? But then that's another travel.
Yeah.
And, it's just...
I mean, but it is Paris, and it's technically for work because you can promote the book that you guys wrote together.
And my best friend lives there and has an apartment I can stay in. So
I mean, that wrote itself, didn't it? That's
yeah, but the problem is if I go to England in July, these are first world problems, guys. If I go to England in July and then I go to Colorado in August and then Paris in September, will I still have a family when I come home? Question mark.
What? I don't think that we can publish any of this. Pretty sure.
Sorry for the dogs. They said no, Mom, don't leave us.
The dogs are like, cut.
Exactly.
Well, I'm not going anywhere until September. So, if anybody's worried that we travel too much, just know that I am refusing to leave before September. And I'll just be here with my insane cats, losing my mind. It'll be fine.
You would wish you'd be traveling because you're going to get away from those kids and the cats and all the fun. Well, I got some great news today. We'll be traveling in November too, right? I'm going to be presenting with Sid at Equine Affair this year.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
Now I'm very jealous, and I need to very quickly come up with a presentation idea so that I'm a presenter too, because this is just going to be embarrassing.
Yeah,
I'll be like, oh, I'm at the table, I'm at the bookstore all day. Where's Heather? Oh, Heather's a presenter. So she's got a crowd in front of her. I want a crowd. Send me a crowd.
You always have a crowd. You always have a crowd.
I need it all the time.
Yeah,
it's the only way I feel worthy.
You're going to boost your ego that way.
My ego.
What was funny?
They should call Equine Affair Ego Affair, because that's why I go.
It is really good for book sales, I'll tell you that. But
it is.
It's one of those things where I had talked to my friend who works in the marketing department there. So I was like, oh, Sid would be she wants to do more public speaking, motivational speaking, things like that. Somehow it turned into Heather and Sid are going to present. And I was like, say what now?
Somehow.
It wasn't
somehow.
It was Sid. So I'm going to blame Sid completely on the fact that if no one shows up, it's not my fault. Okay.
All right. We have to drum that up for everyone's ego. Ego Affair 2024 is in full swing.
Please don't make me be alone.
No. I did a presentation there with a couple other authors 5 or 6 years ago. And I only think 8 people came, if that, maybe.
Oh, boo.
No, it was all right. I said some stuff that isn't true anymore. Somebody wrote to me and they were like, I took all your advice. And I was like, I said that? I don't do any of that anymore. That was one time.
Well, I figured maybe they'll come see Sid and happen to be like, oh, who's this woman interviewing her? And I'll be like, hi, it's me. I'm Heather. How are you?
Well, yeah, because then I'm sure you're going to shill books afterwards and be like, come sign them. Probably have them at Trafalgar Square.
Yeah,
so
I'm sure.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but we got book proofs today, so I'm excited. It's imminent, guys. It's imminent.
Oh.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yep. And Georgina Bloomberg said she was working on the foreword, so once
that's nice.
Yeah.
What's Georgina up to these days?
Oh, she's just going to Europe right now and moving homes, and
Oh, is she?
She just left Devon, and she's just flitting about doing Georgina things. So.
I wrote an article once. I don't remember who it was for. I went and covered like an invitational Grand Prix at Hits in Ocala. This was years ago. And Georgina was riding some mare, and the mare was like bonkers, just really fun to watch. And so I put a paragraph in the article about the mare. And the editor was like, "Oh, we all know about Georgina's mare, so we're just going to take that out." I was like,
rude.
What sort of weird secret are you trying to keep that we can't know that Georgina has a bouncy mare? Like, it was so strange. Like, I didn't know. I thought it was really cute. The mare was like, bing, bing, bing. She was half the fun.
Oh yeah, there was a time when I went to Jersey Fresh and I was photographing the dressage, and there was several photographs of bolting and rears, and I mean, this is upper level, and I was like, oh, look at that, it's relatable, right? Like, everybody still has that problem child or like a bad day or whatever. I'm like, that's, and then, none of the magazines wanted it, so I was like, I'll keep that in my little stash and use that for something else. So
that is odd that they don't want to be relatable like that. Like, there are people I follow on Instagram who you wouldn't. Do they really only just get on, jump a flawless course, and leave? Like, is that the extent
the answer
of their
is
life?
yes, obviously.
I've never seen a picture of these people warming up or like flubbing a distance or nothing. They just get on and they jump a flawless round, and that's the end. That's their whole Instagram account. Like,
listen,
what else is going on in your life,
social media
babe?
is all about lying to oneself and showing only the best possible versions of what you can be, right?
I mean, I surely do that. That is like really just distilling your life down to like 30 seconds a day.
It's crazy how much people will really kind of edit themselves and how they want to be perceived. I think, I mean, and I listen, the Timid Writer Instagram, it's super authentic. I share the highs and lows, everything. But like, you don't see a lot of my family, you don't see a lot of my kids and things like that, because that's not
Thank
the right.
God.
Yeah, obviously, no one wants to see that. It's like, but it's not the right audience. Like, we're talking about the horse journey, right? So like, yes, I do keep some things to myself. I like to think the podcast is where I share a lot of it, but
this is the Overshare Central.
Exactly.
We're not forcing this on anyone.
Yeah, God help you all. If you're listening, then you also love the drama.
Yeah. I used to read this person's, it was basically like their daily diary, and then they stopped updating it. And I miss it so much. And do you remember when blogs, like there'd be loads of diaries online?
Yep.
I'm like, is that still a thing? Can I find these? Because I really want to read other people's diaries.
Well, that's, and that's kind of how I started. So like, I feel like you're talking to me and telling me I should write more confessions.
Well, that's how I started too, right? I started a blog about my barn.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I missed that. And I wish I could do it for myself, but I know I can't. Because I'm too much of a public figure now.
The problem is, I just don't have the time.
Right, that's the thing. Like we're writing stuff that earns out, and so it's impossible to just spend time.
Yeah, like I have 2 books I'm actively working on right now, and a deadline for one of them. You know what I mean? But the other one has kind of been my passion project. So it's kind of just, but those are like, people are waiting for that, right?
Right.
And so that's got to take priority when I sit in front of my computer to let me talk about how miserable my ride was today, or let me talk about how awesome my ride was today.
Well, yeah, then it gets repetitive too. It's like my Equilab right now is like, I did a lot of walking because it was hot. Did some leg yields. Pretty good.
Well, I have some exciting news for you, actually. So, I mean, I may or may not talk to you next week, because I took Odin on a trail around the property the other day, and he did great. Like, very forward. Like, you ask him to stop and back up, and he throws an absolute fit. Like, you could turn him, but you can't back him. Like, it's only forward all of the time. But he was so good, so great. So I'm taking him off property for the first time ever on a trail ride with 2 friends. One I don't actually know, but one is like a friend, like and a fellow timid rider, on Sunday. So we'll find out how that goes. Bum, bum, bum.
Don't go on any narrow trails.
It's just, it's a very big deal for me. Like, a pony I barely know, who's very forward and likes to race on trails I don't know. I haven't driven my trailer in a year and a half. That's going to be fun.
Oh.
It does get regular use.
Yeah, you have to, look at it. Other people probably use it, don't they?
Yeah. It's been used every, month, and the tire's checked and the oil, and my best friend's husband is a mechanic, so, he drives it. Everything's fine. But
That's weird. My husband isn't a mechanic. Why would you say that?
I have 3 best friends, okay? You're my one best friend that I love more than anything.
Uncategorized.
Yeah, you're just an umbrella best friend, okay? I'm not even going to niche you. And then I have a work best friend.
I'm unniched. You can't niche
You're
me.
unniched. You can't contain you. Then I have a work best friend, and then I have a best friend who's my barn buddy, horse best friend, kind of she's the one I walk into the barn and I start crying and she hugs me. You know what I mean?
That would be a lot. I wouldn't be up for that.
I don't cry a lot, okay? But she's been my trainer for so long. She's basically my therapist, and she still loves me. So I can't be that bad.
Yeah. I don't know.
And she vents to me too. So it's we've been buddies for a long time. So yeah. So anyway, I keep you all. I'm compartmentalizing, but I have a couple of besties. Yeah.
Yeah.
So don't take it personally, because I love you more than all of them, of course.
I take everything personally. Probably because I don't sleep and I'm surrounded by cats. I'm learning from them.
You're like the high priestess of the tarot.
Everything horribly personally.
And
they should say take things cattily.
There was a TikTok video that was going around. I don't know why. It was horrible. It was so horrible. I don't know why I kept watching it over and over, because I was dying laughing. But it was this toddler, and the cat was just beating the shit out of him. The toddler would look at the cat, and the cat would be like, pow, pow, pow. And the kid would fall down. And I thought this was the funniest thing in the world. And I kept watching it, which is, of course, I don't condone battery and abuse of children, okay? But
if a cat does it,
the cat just had it was having a day, and it was just not in my bubble, sir.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I feel like I'm the toddler and I'm getting batted around by life. So
life is the cat.
Exactly.
Oh,
I'm crying just thinking about it. It was so
my
funny.
God. I was watching one the other day that was the opposite of that. It was a not even a toddler. It was like a creeper, and he was creeping towards these kittens, and the mother cat was just licking his head just as hard as she could, like he was a kitten too. So that's where I'm at mentally.
See, that's sweet.
It was so sweet. Yeah. I need sweet.
Yeah. I like when other people. It's just like watching reality TV. You're other people's misery make you feel better about your own life. Is that?
It does.
Right?
That's why I need to read diaries.
Especially if we're not meant to.
Yeah. Well, if they publish them, sometimes the people making the worst decisions are the people that publish their diaries, right? So you're just like, oh my God, what are they going to do today?
It's like a real life telenovela.
It is. I really get into it. I'm like, don't do that. Oh, you're going to do it. You're going to do it. And then they always, everybody gets bored with it after a while.
And then you're like, what's next?
It's just a cliffhanger. You never know what happens. Never.
I do love a good cliffhanger. I do. I'm stuck. I watched the new season of Bridgerton, and how dare they? How dare they have the effrontery to give us that carriage scene and then cut for a month? What?
They could have ended television after that carriage scene, and I would have been satisfied.
I mean, I'm enjoying some of those slow-mo, previews and things like that. And,
well, no, because now there's going to be conflict.
I know.
Do we really want conflict?
you always have to have a little conflict because, right, it's drama, it's realistic. It's not everything is happily ever after.
Well, it is, technically, but you have to get through that whole third act breakup, that pesky third act breakup.
Yeah, I don't love
and that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and in the books, I feel like he knew she was Lady Whistledown before he proposed. So I feel like that was the whole thing. Anyway, but I am enjoying it, and I did quite enjoy the carriage scene, because go Pen. I mean, woo, get it, girl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be a really satisfying way to get your whole like sex life started, I think.
Yeah, where do you go from
Right?
there? So many places. So many places. Like, if that's how you start, then you just gotta, like, everything else is just gonna be boring, so you gotta keep it spicy.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you already know what's good. Okay. All right.
Mhm. And she's very in touch with her feminine side. I love it. And she's not afraid to pull a man's hair. I love it. Get it? The whole scene, I was just like, yes, I will rewind and watch this again.
Be kind, rewind. And there's no silly riding scenes in this one, which is good. Nobody's like the traditional jump the log and fall off. What is that? Why are women in period films always falling off right when their horse jumps a log? It's not that serious. Anybody can jump a log. I guarantee you.
Yeah. It's so well, so I was watching the new season of Outer Range. Have you seen this on Amazon Prime?
I've never even heard of it.
So it's with Josh Brolin from The Goonies, because I'm that kid. And basically it's like a kind of sci-fi / Western. It's about this man from the past who ends up climbing through this like wormhole into the future and raising a family, and it's on his property. And so it's like a Western.
Oh, it's like a
family
sci-fi
drama.
Western.
Yeah, but then so at one part, when he was like, I don't know, in his 20s or something, or newly married, they found this calf and its mother. And so they had to kill the mother because she was dying. And I watched him haul a newborn calf, onto the saddle, like behind the horn, like on the seat, and get up behind it.
It's a really big saddle.
Yeah, no, you didn't. Like, I was like, absolutely didn't. I'm like, why wouldn't you put it on, like, in front of the horn? Right? Or like, you know, like, or have someone hold it for you and lift it up for you while you got it on the saddle. Like this didn't make sense. There's not enough room in the saddle.
Did they show it though? Was he like sitting in the saddle and the calf was in front of his legs?
No. What they did was he put the calf in the seat, and then he mounted up, and then it cut to him sitting in the saddle miraculously with the calf on top of his lap.
That's so weird. Like, because he must have mounted and he was just kind of hovering there, like, what
do I do now?
I can't sit down. They were like, cut.
This is like a Western. Come on, guys. It's Amazon Prime. They have the money. So, yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. Like, what would a real cowboy do? Like, I want to know. Like, I want to know from a cattleman.
I think it would go over the neck, like you said, like in front of the horn.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Right? I mean, that's where I would hang something if I needed to. Or the horse's neck is very strong.
Or alternately, if he's worried about the calf, sorry for my dogs. Boys, stop.
I didn't hear.
They're like literally bitch. Well, okay. So the other thing is maybe put it behind the saddle and hold it, like, you know, almost tie it to like the back of your saddle. Like, that's what the strings are for, right? Like, you could tie it because he's hog-tied, right?
Is that what the strings are for?
I mean, it's to hold your jackets and your blankets and things like that.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah. But
it's a mystery world to me.
There's more room on that lower back and ass of the horse than, say, like on the neck.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's a great point.
So I really want like someone who's worked with cattle to tell me what they do. Because like I don't feel like this was right.
I do believe there is probably one accepted practice, and there is probably something on that saddle that is set up for that, because that would be something any stockman, whether they're dealing with sheep or cattle, is they're going to deal with sick and orphaned animals, and they're going to have to schlep them back to a barn.
And in Yellowstone, I've definitely seen them put them on their laps, like across behind the horn, and I can see that. But like, how do you mount with that, right? Like, how do you what's that transition like? I guess
because you got to lift it to get it on your thighs. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
And you're mounting from the ground, and then you're carrying this heavy load that's moving, by the way, because it's alive.
Oh, sure.
So, yeah, I guess I'm just curious, like movie magic versus reality. What's the real thing?
We're going to need some stock people to check in.
I really need that.
Let us know.
Like, I'm not going to say it's kept me up, because it hasn't, but like now I want to know.
I live really close to some cowboys, but I don't like them, so I can't ask them.
I mean, we can reach out to some of our friends that like...
Yeah, there's probably nice ones.
Western horsemen, and, you know, maybe they know some cowboys that they can hook us up
Send
with.
our
Not
way.
in that way, but to answer questions. To answer questions. You know what I mean. Although, no, I do not want a cowboy, but I am curious.
Specifically about the carrying of young livestock on the saddle.
Yeah.
That's what we want to know. We want to get technical here.
Yeah, I want to know how it's done properly for everyone's ease. Like, what's the status quo? Like, what is the general rule of thumb?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyway, the show's a pretty good. It's a weird show. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of like jumping back and forth between time. So my husband, Lord love him, it was too much for his brain, and so he had to stop watching it. Like, I caught him making out with the dog on the floor, and I was like, "Are you even watching the show?" It was like season 2, episode 1. I'm like, "Are you even watching this?" He's like, "I don't even know what's happening." And I was like, "Okay, I guess I'm watching this on my own from now on."
Oh my God. I don't watch new shows because that would be too much for me. Bridgerton is the only new show I ever watch, ever. Really. I can't think of another new show I watched in well over a year.
I look for new shows the second I stop a new show.
I guess Abbott Elementary kind of is newish. It's on its 3rd season. But that's it.
Yeah, well, I'm constantly trying to feed the brain.
No, that's not how I feed my brain.
No, it's what I do to distract myself from reality. Is because I don't watch TV until night. I maybe watch it from like 7 o'clock on, like maybe 2 hours a night. But half the time I'm playing with my cell phone at the same time with like a game, or I'm also sending emails. So like I'm always doing multiple things at the same time.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
That's what I used to do. No, I've actually stopped doing that for the most part, but only because it's because Twitter died, and that was where I spent all my time.
Yeah, mine is TikTok.
No, I don't care.
Oh no, I don't care either. But mindless entertainment, like, I know doom scrolling is bad for your cortisol levels, and my cortisol levels are very high, but I like to detach from reality sometimes, okay?
Oh my God, yesterday. So I go on Threads a lot now because it's sort of like Twitter. It's kind of boring, but it's text-based.
That's because no one's really on it yet.
Well, there's lots of authors on it, like tons of authors.
Yeah.
And it's text-based, and so that's how my brain likes to be fed. I like to read short sentences, I guess, as opposed to watching videos, which makes me insane. Because I can't choose the amount of attention that I have to pay to a video. Video proceeds at its own pace. Right. Text I can skim through and I can move on, right? I'm a control freak. So that's why I don't like audiobooks.
No.
I know, right?
So weird.
Yesterday, so I'll go on it. I'm doing this huge revision of this thing, and when I get to a part that I just feel like I can't cope with, I'll just pick up my phone, look at Threads for 10 minutes. Like, oh. So yesterday, I'm reading through a comment, and it says, "I don't think this part works." Something to that effect. The editor said, "I don't think this part works." And I looked at the part, and I was like, oh, geez, there's a lot of setup here. I'm going to have to go back. And I just was like, no. And I looked at Threads, and then I looked at Reddit, and then I looked at Instagram, and then I looked at Threads again. And then I looked at the page again, and I read it again, and I was like, oh, she means this sentence doesn't work.
It helped you process, huh?
It's like, oh, she didn't mean this entire subplot. She meant this 6-word sentence doesn't work there.
You're thinking macro.
I mean, I killed half an hour trying to avoid this.
Procrastination is a real thing. There's a reason I'm goal-oriented, okay?
It is straight up disassociation. It is like, I can't cope with this problem right now. I just go and look at some other stuff. And then I come back with fresh eyes. I'm a new person, and I'm an idiot.
But at least you recognize you're an idiot, and that's the first step.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm really proud of my idiot stature.
Well, I mean, we're all a little bit silly sometimes. I do disassociate, and it's one thing I've been trying to work on, but also how hard do I want to work on it? Because I'm happy when I disassociate, right? Or maybe not happy, but I'm not stressed.
I'm not happy at the end of the day when I'm like, I didn't finish this, and I didn't finish that, and I got to do it tomorrow. Oh, and I wake up in the middle of the night and go, oh, I needed to write this, and I didn't write it yet.
Yeah.
I had to do that today. To go back and write a scene.
I have really good melatonin that might help solve that issue for you.
I don't. Yeah. Every now and then.
I maybe this is bad. I shouldn't say it online, but I will. When I was at the American Horse Publications Conference, Sarah Welk-Bainham, who is our author colleague, and I were roommates. Sorry for the dogs. I told you they were playing.
They're having a time.
And
I hear their little toenails.
She's like, I forgot my melatonin gummies. And I was like, I have medical grade melatonin for you. And I was like, here are my drugs. Would you like some? And so she was like, this is the best melatonin I've ever had. I'm like, I know. It was really good. It was just melatonin. Okay. I promise. That was it.
I mean, I understand that recreational is going on the ballot in Florida this fall. And
is it really?
Yeah, your girl's gearing up for some good nights of sleep coming up.
That is great.
Here's hoping, baby.
That is great.
Melatonin. I ran out of melatonin once, and I slept exactly the same that night, and I was like,
really?
That was big fat placebo.
Aww.
I know.
Well, I was flying, so I couldn't really, transport anything from the legalness of that is New Jersey. Mm-hmm. So, especially because I've decided I'm never going to fly American Airlines again.
Oh, that's a good choice.
Yeah, I did it because they were partners with JetBlue, and I had all of my points on JetBlue, so it was like, being a little bitch trying to get all my points. But I think it's going to be JetBlue or Delta from now on. Because
that's what I fly.
Yeah, mm-hmm. United is out the window, has been out the window for years. American Airlines was terrible. They don't even have their own TV screens. You have to use your own phone. And Delta has a really cute pilot that I met, so I'll stick with that.
And they have great uniforms.
Yes, they do.
I love that plum color. It's really nice.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're talking about the flight attendants? I was talking about the pilot.
all the pilots do. It's pretty much all wear the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. I do love it. A man in uniform.
But I like the color scheme, let me say, on Delta. I think their updated color scheme is excellent.
Yeah. So. Well, and I was kind of talking because apparently Delta is really, really high standards for like their employees and for everything. So I was like, you know what? I'll give them another shot because I did get locked out of a Delta plane once during a layover where I had 20 minutes to go from like Terminal E to Terminal A, and they closed the gate right in front of me, which sucked. But they did pay for a hotel and a new flight. So
they like to schedule tight layovers. That's something I've noticed with Delta. I had a really tight layover on my flight back from Horse World, and I think that the second flight was delayed, and I was looking at it going, wait a minute, I don't know how I would have made this flight if it wasn't delayed. Like, I didn't even realize that, and they're the ones that scheduled it. I didn't schedule it,
Right.
Like, they were like, here you go, here's your flight. Like, okay, great. So, they're into that. As long as they pay for it, it's fine, I guess.
Well, even American, I've never, me, I don't exercise, okay? I do yoga periodically, and it's really intermittent. So flying down to Lexington, there's no good flights. You have to connect, which I hate. I love a nonstop flight. I will pay extra. I will drive 2 hours to an airport that will give me a nonstop flight. I was running from terminal to terminal, barely made it. The only reason I made it was because the second flight was delayed and I wanted to die. I almost landed on the floor like heaving because I couldn't catch my breath. And then on the way back from Lexington, the same thing happened where I had to pee so bad and I couldn't run because I had to pee so bad. So I had to take a 2-minute pee break and then run faster. And I got there just as my gate was boarding, and I was like sweating and red, and I'm like, this is not the type of travel. I like Delta Lounge travel. I like, meandering, grabbing a Coke on the way and having a little snacky snack. No, this was balls to the wall, Home Alone, holy shit, you're going to miss the flight. And they did that to me twice, and I'm done. I'm just done. They didn't have TV screens, so they lost me completely.
That's the thing about Lexington. Like, I love Lexington, but and I know that I'm pretty sure that there's like a fight right now about expanding their airport, which is unfortunate because it will involve probably losing some farmland.
Yeah.
But guys, if Lexington's going to be the center of everything horsey, we got to be able to get there.
Right.
And these bug smasher airplanes,
Yeah, there's no point in like not checking your bag because you're just going to have to gate check it anyway.
Yep. Yep, exactly. But you get on this tiny little plane. They don't even have room for carry-ons. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. I love Lexington, but getting there just sucks.
It really does.
Something has to be done, or else all these organizations, you're gonna have to move somewhere with an airport. All right, like people have got to travel for work. We can't be doing this all the time.
Exactly. It was really terrible. And I will say, because I'm a bougie bitch, I did fly first class the entire way, and I was still unhappy. Okay, so like if I was flying in economy, I probably would have like assaulted somebody, like just with my crane, because I didn't get to eat the whole time. Even in first class, they didn't have a meal, nothing. So I'm just like, what's the point? This airline is dead to me.
Well, I was in Comfort Plus on the way last time, and it was, this is why I flew to Harrisburg. Another pain in the ass airport, I must say.
Yeah, those regional airports.
Oh, yeah. But the girl next to me talked to the entire way from Atlanta to Harrisburg.
Ew.
It was insane. Like, I had to take out my AirPods because it became clear she wasn't going to stop talking, and I couldn't really hear her. Like, these used to be the universal symbol for home listening to something. And
so
it was
that's when you just shut down your energy and you say, "Excuse me, I'm so sorry, but I'm trying to concentrate on something." Like you actually put up a boundary and say like words to that effect. Because the smile and nod, people ignore the smile and nod.
That's true. That's true. And I'm not really a people pleaser, but I'm afraid of conflict. So that's what gets me.
But here's the beauty. If someone else acts a fool on a plane in response to your boundary, you're not the one getting kicked off.
Well, I don't mean serious conflict. I mean any kind of discord whatsoever. Like, if I say, oh, I'm really concentrating on something, then for the next hour I will be concentrating on something, and it is that I offended the girl next to me.
Okay. Well, I will say that it's gotten to the point where I hate confrontation, okay? But in the last, say, 6 years, it coincided with me turning 40. I have learned that sometimes I'm more important than someone else's feelings.
Yes.
And it's not my fault if I set a boundary and they're unhappy with it, because they're also a fucking stranger. And if I don't want to talk on a plane, I don't have to talk on a plane.
I agree with all of these things, but there is also a cortisol level associated with putting up that boundary, I think.
So what you're saying is you need me to be your pit bull.
Always and forever.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I can do that for you because I found my voice and it has a very husky bark.
I used to think I needed a golden retriever who would like make friends for me, but it's not in fact what I need. I need a defense so I can just be aloof and alone and people can just gaze from afar. And guys, that's friendship to me. If you gaze at me from afar, I love you right back.
Small talk is no bueno.
I can't do it. If you have small talk with me, you will hate me. You'll be like,
no, they won't.
Natalie's the worst. I'm so sorry I met her.
So now I'll just be your little pit bull gatekeeper, because pit bulls are warm and friendly until they're not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's like, but we don't have to bite anybody because we just look scary. So
you just wrinkle your forehead.
Resting bitch face, right? Because I'm really good at that. Like, I'm always surprised when like people, aka men, come up and talk to me like in a public place, because I was like, I'm pretty sure I looked pretty mad about something, like, or concentrated. Like, women always love to tell me their life stories. Like, I'm a girl's girl, you know, you can, but men, I'm like, wow, you've got some balls on you for coming over here.
That's just how impressive you look all the time.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's how I ended up getting, you know, my last 5 boyfriends. It's like they liked mean girls. You know.
You're truly a mare.
Yeah.
She's a chestnut mare, guys. She's got dark hair, but she's a chestnut mare.
I am. I have auburn highlights, but they're natural, so you know.
I just said dark. I don't want to pick a color.
I'm like a, what is that? Like a dark bay with I don't know,
the big white face.
A big ass white face and white stockings. My lights are scleras. So white. Everything about me that's not dark is white. AF. Like I was thinking, so I'm going to this wedding in July, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to wear a dress. Fine. Except I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to show my legs. And then I was like, oh wait, I'm going to England. It's gonna be fine. Because everyone else.
The only thing you can do wrong between now and then is like wear half chaps or something, because then your upper legs will tan, but not your lower legs. So just avoid that.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
And you'll be fine. Yeah, glaring white, not a problem.
I love it.
I actually got a little bit of a sunburn in London, but it was
Did you really?
Yeah, it was like 85 degrees like every day we were there.
That's
it was super sunny.
Very hot for
that. That happens a lot to me when I go to the UK.
I bring the rain and you bring the sun.
I really do. Yeah, I have had so many sunny trips to the UK, probably more than anyone in history.
That's actually pretty amazing. Yeah, my girls were asking about like if it rains a lot. I'm like, define a lot, because it could be very similar to like the Pacific Northwest, where you get like 15 minutes of rain and that's it for the day. You know what I mean?
It rains more like in the summer. Rains more in the north.
Yeah,
too. It does down where you're going. So
exactly. So I'm not worried because we'll be in the fancy part, close to the ocean and doing fancy wedding things.
Yeah, you're gonna be so fancy. I hope there's gonna be like fancy horses with ribbons in their manes.
Probably not. She's more of a fashion girly than a horse girly. But my girlfriend has already scheduled us to go to the hairdresser and get blowouts for the wedding. So it was like, that's never something I really do, but I'm like, heck yeah, let's do it. So vacation vibes. Mm-hmm. It'll be fun. So I guess, I don't know, we should probably talk about adulting wins.
Yeah. Yeah, we should. Yeah. Adulting wins. Yeah.
So, so my adulting win is that I rode for the first time in 4 or 5 years since I've been at this barn. For the first time, I stayed in the saddle all the way around the 1 mile track around the property.
Stayed in the saddle.
Yeah, because Ferris was not underneath me. Because Ferris dumps me halfway through every single time. And I'm scarred. So the fact that I made it around still in the saddle on Odin, huge win. Huge. Wonderful.
That is very impressive.
I agree.
And on a new pony, on a new one-eyed pony.
Yeah, and he was pretty much by himself because the horse we were supposed to be riding with was like half a mile back. Like we outwalked him by far. Like I could have walked the trail twice and caught up with him at the end. I'm not kidding.
That's a Ben pace. I would like to see the two of them together. Like, holy shit, your horse walks fast. Yeah, check how fast my horse walks. Oh my god, like that.
They'd be racing each other at the walk. Like my neck's farther out than yours.
It's so funny. I would say I'm going to go ahead and go with a riding win too, because we somehow talked about horses very little on this episode, which is hilarious. And I have been riding. Yesterday, I went out to ride at about 5:30 p.m. and it was over 90 degrees and humid. And I was like, what the hell is this weather? But I persevered and got on anyway and did a 40-minute walking ride that was awesome and energizing, and I feel like we both got a lot out of it. And I gotta tell you, jogging, I won't say running because I don't go that fast, but jogging and the leg press and lunges have done wonders for my dressage. Like
wonderful.
Wonders. Yeah. Like I push and he goes, oh god damn. There's leg there. Like,
amazing.
It works. Like having muscles actually works. I recommend it. You should do it.
So
I know you're not going to.
No. Actually, I'm going to shock the shit out of you right now. I went to the gym this week.
You just said you did an exercise like 10 minutes ago.
I went and did yoga. It was like hot yoga.
Oh.
And yeah, it was supposed to be low heat, but it was like 90 degrees in there. I guess that's low. I went with my girls because we had this big, gym country club thing open literally a mile from my house. And my husband was like, what are we going to do with the girls this summer? Let's enroll them because they can go work out, do the classes, and there's a beach club. They could do a pool, whatever. I was like, that sounds great. Let's keep them busy.
It's like a Judy Blume novel.
Oh my God. I mean, they're like, girls, you want to play pickleball? Yeah, we'll get on the list, Mom. Like, it's crazy. So I was like, let me see what this place is about. I told the girls on Memorial Day I would take them, and we went to do yoga. First of all, I am sore. Also, way better at yoga than I thought I was because, I've done yoga retreats.
Yeah.
But then I was like, shit, I probably really helped my riding. So I'm going to go this weekend and I'm going to go do the gym again. And I might get on like a treadmill and walk. I don't know. I have low expectations. So I figure I'll surpass my own goals.
Yeah, do a little shuffle for 5 minutes.
Yeah, a little shuffle.
A little shuffle.
A little.
I wasn't going to go today because I went yesterday. It was the first time we'd gone since like the whole Kentucky, and now I'm sick, and now I'm in London, and now I'm sick again. So yesterday was the first time we went, and
I trying to live my life.
I wish I wasn't, because you're going to go be glamorous in the Cotswolds, and I'm going to be like jogging. I like overdid it on the shoulder press or whatever, and so my arms were super sore, and I didn't sleep very well. And Corey's like, "Are we going to go to the gym?" And I was like, "Oh." So I went to the gym, and I was so glad I did. So I reached that point where I'm glad I did.
Yeah, I never regretted being there. I just don't have motivation to go in the first place, and that is really the story for my life.
I know, I agree.
All of it. It's just lack of motivation.
Just the fact that I rode last night, and that was my win. It was like, I was like, it's 90-something degrees at 5:30 p.m. This sucks. And then it was fine, really. Just went slowly and stayed in the shade, and it was fine. It wasn't a big deal. And I'm like, I could do this all summer. It's not the best thing in the world, but it's far from the worst. So
yeah, and that's kind of why I think I ended up deciding to do the trail around the property with the horse that I don't know, is because it was so fucking hot and sun was beating down into the arena, and it was like, if I don't go into the woods, I won't be getting on today. Yeah,
riding in the sun is just forget it.
Horrendous.
Absolutely not. Plant trees around your arenas, people. If you have arenas at home, plant trees or find a place to ride under a tree when it's hot out.
It was 15 degrees cooler. In the shade. It was crazy. But it was wonderful, and it was like, okay, maybe this is what I do all summer long. I just, the little 1 mile track, we just do leg yields and circles and come around trees and make it kind of a trail riding summer. Like maybe that's just what we do.
You find places where, like I have a 25-meter circle around one particular tree that I like, and things like that. Like you find spots that work. And I was gonna, at some point I will put a track around this property, like around the perimeter, because that's so much fun.
Oh, it's great.
I love doing that. I love like doing the leg yield and then changing the bend and leg yielding the other direction, all on the straight line. It's wonderful practice.
I love that. I do that all the time. And that's why I was like, okay, well, if he's a little forward when we go on Sunday, I'll just practice my leg yields. I'll practice my softening and shoulder in and make him work. So if he doesn't want to stop and wait, he's going to do some things. Yeah. And then he's going to learn. You either do some things or you stop and wait, right? Like Ferris used to be the same way.
That's a thing, that we've been working on all this year, is like moving every time he tries to bolt, which Ben loves bolting when he's not in a riding lesson. When he's in a riding lesson, he's like, I'm a slow baby. I'm like, I swear, riding him usually is like riding a dragon. They're like, sure it is. Okay. So every time he bolts, like, shoulder in. Oh, okay. This sucks. Just keep doing it. It's really starting to imprint on his brain. And plus having the big, strong legs, it's changing things. Changing things.
Yeah, that's the one thing I noticed too, is riding, because Ferris has been out of it, although I'm really hoping to ride him tomorrow if it's not hot. He's had like 6 weeks off, so he's out of shape, but he's such a leg ride, Ferris. And then when I ride Odin, he's such a core ride. So like my upper body and my core is so sore because I don't have to really use that like when with Ferris. So I'm using completely different parts of my body. Yeah. And that's part of why I was like, okay, if I'm going to do this IA thing, I should probably actually do like some kind of fitness so I don't embarrass myself completely. Yeah. But I mean, that's really the goal. The goal is not to be fit. The goal is to not embarrass myself. So,
I mean, that's more attainable.
It's true.
Let's keep it attainable.
It's me, so it could go either way. I mean, at least I'll laugh about it if I do embarrass myself.
An attempt will be made. What else can we say?
An attempt will be made. Exactly. That's the theme of today. An attempt will be made.
Name it.